Hello guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I'm super mega excited to be sharing the storyline of Olga and Ivona. And if you guys haven't watched the series called Auranas, What Are You Waiting For? This is probably one of my favorite and also the most realistic storylines that I've watched in a really long time when it comes to lesbian content. But before we get into further details, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and also if you have watched the series, please let me know your personal opinion on it. So let's get right into further details because this one is really giving what it's supposed to give. So basically, it's a TV series released in 2019 that currently has 2 seasons available, and each episode is almost an hour long and it's available to watch on Google Play. So by this I mean that it's actually in Portuguese, but you guys don't have to worry because Google Play actually has translations available. So when it comes to that, you have no worries. So basically, the TV series is an action crime drama that follows friends who are leading a non-profit organization investigating the environmental crimes in the Amazon involving a major mining company that wants to take over and basically explore more oil. So then we have Olga. Olga is a very ambitious woman who got hired by the mining company leaders to go under a mission to convince the government and the leaders of Brazil to give them the 1 trillion reais to invest in the oiling company. Olga is in charge of doing the dirty work and getting the mission accomplished because she is very well known and feared because of her ambition and the power that she possesses over people. So she's basically the woman you call in order to get the business done, just because of how strong her character is, her personality, and just how like she really when she wants something she gets it basically. And then we have Ivona. She's an activist who is also very well respected in her field, basically in her field when it comes to activism. And she's also fighting against everything that Olga stands for and that comes with Olga's career. So moral of the story is like two enemies following in love with one another, knowing that they come from way different perspective of life. So how does their storyline develop and how does these two women actually come together? So the two fall in love deeply and they had a very intense connection. It's like enemies falling in love with one another until Olga betrayed Ivona and tried to ruin her career and life because Olga was ready to give out important information that could end Ivona's organization and not only that, her career and her life as well, without thinking about the consequences that would actually bring back to her. Ivona left Brazil in order to escape Olga, betrayed and basically obsessed with her as well. But Olga never let Ivona go. She was always keeping tabs on her and monitoring every single move she made to the country where she was, with who she was she dating, how is her work going, basically just making sure that she knows every single thing because at this point Olga already knew that Ivona basically didn't want anything to do with her no more. She didn't want to see her. She didn't want to be next to her. And she actually left the country in order to escape her. So she knew at that point that she lost the love of her life. And at that point, Ivona just wanted basically to get gone and to get out of Olga's life. And this is exactly what she did. So at the beginning of season 2, you can actually see that Ivona in this case is only someone in the memories of Olga, where she was just basically remembering everything that went through, their life together as a couple, as a union, basically just having those throwbacks, during working moments that where she just would just stay down and reflect on her and Ivona's situation because she really missed her. One thing we have to know is that Olga is a very powerful woman, she's surrounded by very powerful people, but at the same time she's also very lonely, and Ivona was like that person for her, like she knew that was her person, and she also felt a lot of guilt for doing what she did to Ivona, but she actually never recognized it, so that only makes it worse. So at the beginning I thought that something actually had happened to Ivona, but later on that was not actually the case. It looks like I said already, Ivona went away and basically have decided later on to come back to Brazil in order to get her revenge on Olga in this case. Ivona decides to come back to Brazil and decides to destroy Olga and her business company, basically get her get back for what she have done to her. And of course, Olga finds out that Ivona is back, and the two finally meets face to face, and things didn't go well for Olga because Ivona is the only person that has that type of power and control over Olga. Nobody else has it. So the organization, by bringing in Ivona, already knew that they will have a very, very strong tool against Olga, because Olga is the only person that, Ivona ever, in this case, Ivona is the only person that Olga ever loved, and they just knew if they would bring her on board, like they will knew, that they will have someone strong and powerful besides them. And not only that, because in this case, Ivona is also very, very good at what she does, and she's very respected in her field. So it's like a win-win for them. And of course, also, when it comes to Ivona, Olga can speak, like she goes speechless. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how to react. Like basically, Ivona has that control over a very powerful woman, and they knew that bringing in Ivona was the thing to do. That was the way to get Olga, and the way to get her back. Olga ends up getting fired from her project. Basically, her partners betrayed her. So she reaches out to Ivona's organization. It gives them very important documents that would lead Ivona's organization to win their case against Olga's ex-company. And that would really be like the turning pages for their relationship, because at the beginning, in this case, Ivona didn't actually know that Olga was the person who gave those important documents for them to actually go ahead and win the case. So when Ivona later on found out that Olga was actually the reason behind why they won, she had to go do the big one and actually go to Olga's house. And basically at that moment, it was just so beautiful, because you can actually see that they have reunited and they finally had the happy ending that I feel like they very well deserve. Just imagine you hating someone so much for betraying and hurting you, but at the same time loving you, loving them with all their heart and everything that they have. It's a very, very complicated storyline, because first of all, like I always knew that Olga loved Ivona, because since Ivona, Olga, she hasn't been with no other person. Yes, she tried to have her hookups here and there, but it just was never the same for her. So when she found out that Ivona came back, Olga was just like, whoa, but she also knew that Ivona didn't come back for her. She didn't come back for their relationship. She didn't come back in order to try to fix things for her. She actually came back to get revenge and to stand on something and to win a case that she firmly believes in. And Olga, at the end, she realized that, Ivona is definitely someone that she wants to keep around in her life, and that, eventually they end up forgiving one another. In this case, Olga ends up basically earning her the love of her love's life and trust back, and that was something very good and amazing to see. So yes, guys, I will highly recommend you all to go to Global Play. Yes, Global Play, and go watch it. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce anything or say anything you might not understand. I always try to keep it as clean as possible. So please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and please go ahead and go watch the show. I promise you 100% it won't disappoint at all, because it's really, really giving what it's supposed to give. Until the next review, and goodbye.